Hey guys, welcome to my carnivore channel. I know I don't really come on here often, but I know a few of you have had some concern for me, and you guys were always like family to me, so I apologize for not being there. Life's been really hectic. I wanted to come on here and talk about something, as you probably saw from the thumbnail. I have been diagnosed with a very rare disease. So this just was diagnosed yesterday on Monday. I don't even know what today is, but anyways, but yeah. So what to catch up on? So guys, I've been carnivore again. I'm almost 10 months. I think I don't even know what day it is anymore. I'm not even counting the days. I started November 27th of last year. Obviously, we're almost to September 27th soon. So you might as well figure I'm 10 months, almost 10 months, 9.5. So first of all, let me kind of explain what the disease, how it started. And that is, well, let's not dive into that yet. Actually, I'll just catch you all up. Carnivore's been great as far as carnivore itself. And I decided recently that like I still was, doing a little too much dairy. My weight had stalled scale wise. I did lose like another inch around my waist, but I felt like it's still not enough progress that I personally wanted to see. So I decided like a little over a week ago, a couple weeks ago to drop dairy completely. So I've been like, in fact, remember I used to drink coffee with a splash of heavy cream. I actually dropped it both. It's been over a week since I've had coffee. No dairy, except butter. Butter's the only thing I've made exceptions for, and that's only a few pats of butter on my steak. Mostly I've been eating steak or burger or beef broth, beef tallow, eggs, bacon. That's about it. And but I ran into a roadblock. So Monday, last Monday, I had a sore throat at the end of the night. And then I thought, well, it was at the end of the night. So I was like, well, maybe I was talking a lot through the day. Plus, I knew that Sunday night I had gotten very little sleep. So I figured maybe fatigue, just everything, a long day at work, 2 days at two jobs, maybe I just needed to get some rest. So I took some supplements. I was like, yeah, I better do some zinc, magnesium, potassium, and go to bed. I figured maybe that'll help. Good night's rest. So I got like 7 hours sleep, woke up, felt pretty good. I was like, oh, okay, cool. By the end of the night, sore throat again. But it was worse. And I was starting to feel a little achy, and I'm like, okay, I don't feel like I'm running a fever, but I'm feeling a little achy. And then Wednesday I woke up and I noticed I had these red rashes all over my legs and arms and back, but they weren't itching, they weren't raised, they weren't blistering. There were just these red spots all over. So I took a picture and sent him to my boss. I said, I'm going to go to urgent care today. And this was Wednesday morning. So I went to urgent care. They swabbed me for strep. They checked me out and they said, do you want us to test for COVID or flu? And I said, do you really think this is COVID? And she's like, no. And even if it was, there's not a lot of treatment we can give you. So I was like, okay, well then just skip it. Then we'll just do the strep stuff, whatever, and anything else. And she wanted to test my blood sugar. Surprisingly, my blood sugar was like perfect. It was so good that she was like, damn. She's like, what do you do? I said, I'm a carnivore. And she was really, and like, so the doctor, I actually sold the doctor on carnivore based on my lab results. Anyways, but she couldn't really figure it out. So she said, well, sometimes this could possibly be viral or allergic reaction to something. So, but we realized that I didn't really change anything like allergy wise, or maybe I'm developing an allergy. That was a possibility. But so she gave me she issued me prednisone. So I went and picked that up, and it was a step down pack. And so I started taking it. But after 2 days, come Friday, well, you know, I needed to be able to get back to work. And I thought I was going to be able to get back to work Friday, but Friday morning comes. Oh, and let me back up just a little bit. And what started happening Wednesday, as I was leaving the clinic, my left knee and my right thumb and my left pointy finger started to get like severe arthritis. Like I was almost getting a limp. I was like, man, it was like really painful. I could like squeeze my knee a little bit and it hurt. I was like, man, this sucks. And so, but I got the medicine, got the prednisone, started taking it. Thursday, I started feeling muscle soreness all through my body. I'm like, God dang, this sucks. And so I'm taking like ibuprofen and the prednisone. Now, meanwhile, keep in mind, now I have a sore throat constantly and nothing's touching it. Prednisone, like the painkiller, like the ibuprofen, it's not touching it, you know. And normally, like, you can get your sore throat to go down. Well, then Friday, I decided to go to the hospital, like one of the hospitals near me. So I went there and they did blood work. They did the full thing. I let them swab me for COVID, flu, all like everything. And so waited around for hours. Finally, they come back and they say, dude, your levels look great. Everything looks good about you. You look great. This must be viral, maybe something allergic. Like, continue taking the prednisone and may just has to run its course. Okay. I mean, and Friday night, I had to do my second job. I tried, I don't know how I made it, but I made it. I could barely walk, but I made it. I did my second job. There's no way I could have done my first job. No way. I can't. My first job, I have to get on my knees at times. And like, there's just no. But it was Saturday, Sunday. I'm just in so much pain. My sore throat. I could barely move. I'm walking around like a 90-year-old man. No offense to 90-year-old men out there, but I'm talking about just full of arthritis. Every muscle hurt. Joints were hurting. And then my left knee, by the way, had quit hurting, but my right knee or certain other joints, things have shifted, you know, but the muscles were, I was just attacked. Like my muscles were just under siege. Like, and I could just, everything was sore. It's like some massive workout. And I just was like, so sore that every time I'd move any part of my body, I had muscles in my top of my arms, all these things that I'd never even thought about. And I'm like, holy crap. But mostly my legs, because I need to walk. And you could like squeeze my my calves and stuff, and they were tender. It just was horrible. And it was so bad that Sunday night, I actually had my ex-wife bring bourbon, like, or not, well, it is technically a bourbon, but it's Tennessee whiskey. I had her bring me Jack Daniels Sunday night. Yeah. And that's the first time I drank in years. I was so desperate, but it helped that night. It did. Monday morning I woke up, my sore throat was at least halfway fixed finally. But I could barely walk and I was supposed to go back to work. So I had to call my boss and say, dude, I can't move hardly. I've got to go to the hospital again. Well, I will say back on like Tuesday, I want to say maybe my ex there, Terry Lynn, she told me, she's like, Josh, I really think you have Still's disease. She's like, it matches exactly with what you have. It's a rare thing, but bring it up. So I brought it up to that first hospital, and they were just like, oh, it's kind of rare, blah blah blah. You know how they are. Well, then this time I went in, told them about it. Like, oh, I'm not really familiar with that. Pretty rare. They ran me through the gambit. Same thing. They were impressed by my results. They all said, and I told them I was a carnivore, and they were all impressed by that. They thought my levels were all great. They couldn't believe it, And on paper, I looked healthy, but they knew that the redness in my throat, there was no white pustules or anything, nothing like strep, but just redness. And so they knew I was in pain. Like they knew those things. They couldn't deny that. But they just was like, I don't know. And then the doctor came in, and he was pretty much going to just give me another round of prednisone. And he just kind of told me, like, this may have to run its course, this and that. And I had another toddler, I brought up Still's disease again. And I said, listen, I know I mentioned it earlier. I said, but what about the possibility of that Still's disease? So he said, well, let me just, you know what? Give me a second. Give me a second. I'll be right back. Let me go look at something. And that was my impression. And so he left, and literally like probably an hour later, he came back and he said, okay, I ordered a couple more labs for you. We're going to keep you a little longer. He said, so I had to like dig into some even like European medical journals. And so he said, there's 3 markers. And if you're elevated in those 3 markers, you probably have Still's disease. One of those markers is iron. I don't remember what the other 2 are. I'll probably learn the names of them, I'm sure, as I learn even more and more about this stuff. But so I had to wait even longer, and I had already been there like 6 or 7 hours by then. And then they got me in a bed finally, and then I was in around midnight. He came in. He said, damn it. He's like, it looks like you have Still's disease. So he explained to me that my iron, for example, a normal iron level, I think he said something like 480-ish or 500, in that kind of range. He said, but mine's like 5,000. So I was like 10 times the amount of iron and all this other stuff. So of course, me and my like, simple-minded thinking, I'm like, did Carnivore create this? Am I eating way too much iron or something, like meat? So I said, hey, let me ask you. I said, can diet do this? Like, I said, cause like I'm a carnivore. And he goes, oh no. He goes, that's awesome. He goes, I'm doing keto. He's like, I think I think he said something about me wanting to do carnivore, but no. He would like, so nobody at one time ever, like they all thought the carnivore thing was great. Nobody ever, believe it or not, looked down upon me doing carnivore. That was what's really cool. It was the first time I went to all those hospitals, all the nurses, the doctors, all the different ones I kept, because, like there was like a million of them that would ask you, so what brings you in here today? I explained it to them. And then I'd tell them, like, I'm a carnivore. I always try to tell them. So I give them the most information. And nobody, and they were all impressed by my normal levels of all my other stuff. So, hey, that was kind of some confirmation, right? But no, they recommend I still keep being a carnivore, especially with me now having Still's disease. So, but yeah, I mean, it was thanks to her, my ex there, we're still great friends, and it was thanks to her that she was able to really get them to me insisting, she wasn't there, but just really kept reminding me to tell them about it. And they finally listened. The one doc listened. So now they're getting me into a general practitioner and a specialist, a rheumatoid specialist coming up. It's supposed to be a disease that's very livable. Right now, they're managing everything on me with steroids, because basically, like, my immune system is pretty much like attacking itself right now. It's pretty much just like, it's just attacking itself. So that's why I'm having all the arthritis and everything. Like, if my iron and all that stuff won't come down, it's still like immunity overdrive. So they're doing all this steroids and stuff to bring it down. And like today, I feel 100% better. Not 100%, but I feel 100 times better at least. The joint pains have pretty much subsided. Muscle soreness, a little bit here and there, a little tweaking, but I was able to walk normal today. So that made me super happy. No sore throat. That faded at the hospital. In fact, they offered me that nasty, I don't know, whatever they want to call it. It was like basically like that fancy mouthwash stuff for your sore throats. And he's like, yeah, it tastes like crap, but I can get that. I was like, no. I was like, it's going away. And like I said, so maybe the Jack Daniels killed it. I'm not a fan of drinking. Oh, and by the way, I did find out, guys, I know some of our favorite doctors have said no alcohol. And I'm mostly no alcoholic because I don't like drinking. I did drink Jack Daniels. I did find a keto carnivore expert that said, if you are going to drink, because they do occasionally like to drink, they said no wine, no beer, only try to do anything that's distilled. Doesn't matter about the color, just distilled. So bourbons, scotches, whiskeys, things like that. Just to let you know. Now, I know you can get into the whole thing about sugars. I'm not going to keep drinking. That was an exception. That was like desperation. But I'm not a big fan of alcohol. Even when I did drink it Sunday night, I got a little lit, and I'm not a fan of that anymore. I don't know why I enjoyed it so much when I was younger. I don't like enjoying that at all. And the whole sipping on things, like when all the old men make it seem nice when you're sipping on a bourbon or a scotch. I don't get it. It's like you're sipping on gasoline. I don't know. Anyways, whatever. I guess if you sip on it enough, it don't matter. Like, by the end of the night, I'm like, pour me another one. And then pouring on the rocks. But no. But I just wanted to update. I know this video is getting a little long. I haven't seen you guys, but I'm still carnivore. Okay. Still haven't been cheating on it. I love carnivore. It's like, I don't want to cheat, to be honest with you. And I'm not even eating many like carnivore pizzas. I did experiment with some of that cottage cheese bread lately. So if you haven't seen that one, that's when you just take 2 cups of cottage cheese, 4 eggs, blend them, pour it onto parchment paper where it's kind of like thin, like a pool, and throw it in I think 350-degree oven for like 40 minutes. And then you just let it cool down. Now you have cottage cheese bread, and it's pretty good. It's like flatbread. You can make sandwiches. But I was like, it's weird because when you get to a certain place in carnivore, you kind of I almost don't even care about variety anymore, to be honest with you. Cause it seems like every time I start expanding out. Now I will tell you, the flat cheese, cottage cheese bread made the best biscuits and gravy. Oh, dude. Biscuits and gravy. I made homemade sausage gravy. So I found some sausage that I like. Breakfast sausage, it was in the tube. And I made that up, fried it up, added a couple sticks of butter, then slowly added heavy cream until I got a decent amount to make a gravy, sausage gravy, salt, pepper. And then I made a loaf of that flatbread, right? Two cups of cottage cheese. You want to get the creamy stuff, not the skim, get the creamiest you can get. But 2 cups of cottage cheese, 4 eggs, blend them, pour it. It's a nice runny liquid. I also add like a teaspoon of salt and then pour it onto parchment paper, cookie tray, 350 degrees, 40 minutes. And then I took like the old fashioned, I just took a glass. It was about the size of a biscuit. And I just used it for a cookie cutter. And I actually I was able to get 12, I think. So basically I had 4 3-level biscuits, 3 layers, 3 flat circles I stacked to make about biscuit height. So, and so I had 3 circles, so I had 6 circles as for 2 biscuits, poured some gravy over. I'm maybe, who knows, maybe I showed you a picture on here or not. Sometimes I go back and find pictures for you guys. I think I actually took pictures of it, but I got to tell you, flavor wise, let me tell you, it's, when people say there's substitutions for things and then you eat them and you're kind of like, yeah, this is good, but this is not real close to the real thing either. I got to tell you, the flatbread, the cottage cheese flatbread was about the closest to real biscuits and gravy taste. And I'll tell you why, because the cottage cheese flatbread almost has like a soft biscuit texture, and there's not a lot of flavor. And biscuits technically don't always have a lot of flavor, where a lot of the flavor for biscuits and gravy come from is the sausage gravy. But if you make the sausage gravy with the whipping cream and gravy, salt, pepper, it's going to taste just as good as any other gravy with flour. So, flavor, like all texture and flavor wise, I'm telling you, it ate like a true biscuits and gravy. Other than if you like having your biscuits with a little bit of crispness, that, you know what I mean? That kind of that top layer, bottom layer crispiness on your biscuit, you're not going to probably get that. But as far as the soft texture of the biscuit and the flavor of the sausage and gravy, oh yeah, that was good. So that's probably one of my favorite substitutions, but I probably won't make that for a while. Just because, again, I'm avoiding dairy for a while. I'm trying to go a few months without dairy to try to kick my weight loss back in. And I'm starting to finally kick the scale going again. I'm starting to, now that I'm dropping the dairy, all dairy right now. And what else? Like I said, I know it's a long video, but it's kind of a long catch up. I've also been making egg drop soup. That's another good one, guys. If you have chicken stock or beef stock. Now listen, traditionally they will take 2 cups. This is the traditional way. 2 cups of stock, like chicken stock. Then you do like that, like tablespoon of like cornstarch slurry. And then you pour that in your boiling broth, and it'll kind of thicken it up just a teeny bit, make it a little more gravy-ish or soup thickness. And then they scramble 2 eggs, beat them, like you beat the eggs, and then you slow pour into when the liquid's boiling good, turn it down. As soon as you turn it down, start pouring that, just drizzle the egg into the broth. And you can like throw in, like if you do the chives, if you're not that dirty. But that's traditional. Me, I found just simply, I do 3 cups of beef broth and I drizzle in 2 eggs because I like mine just a little brothier. And it's almost like eating ramen noodles, to be honest with you. It's like a very soft ramen noodles, but the flavor wise, it's like it almost makes me like, hey, it's like I'm eating ramen noodles again. So it's almost like a substitution for ramen. It's crazy, but so good. And I've been doing beef soup, hamburger soup. Excuse me. So the hamburger soup, it's simple. I've been taking a soup pan. I take one little scoop of beef tallow, melt it, and then get the pan pretty hot. And I will actually fry up a half pound of ground beef, ground that up. And no, and I won't do salt. No, I'll do a little bit of salt. Excuse me. I'll do a little bit of salt. And so I'll do a little bit of salt, ground all that up. I won't rinse. Oh God, I got hiccups. That's weird. I rarely get hiccups. Now they're coming back. But do a little bit of salt. And but I won't drain it. And then I'll add 3 cups of water, beef broth. And then, excuse me, stir it up. I'm going to end with hiccups. That's great. And stir that out. And then and when it boils for just like a minute or two, just to get the flavors good, I turn off the heat and I put a 1 tablespoon pat of butter and just drop it in there. It's like old French technique or something. And you just you just stir and melt it. God, sorry guys. Now I'm gonna have to end the video. But that little hamburger soup recipe, because I haven't been able to eat hamburger meat lately. I don't know. I guess I've been getting spoiled to steak. But that hamburger soup recipe, really good. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the hamburger soup and I'm gonna add it. I'm gonna do and turn off the heat. And I'm gonna slow pour 1 scrambled egg and do like a hamburger soup egg drop, like a hamburger egg drop soup. Oh, I bet that's gonna be amazing. But other than that, I've been eating steak almost every day. A lot of top sirloin, and New York strip. So guys, don't give up. Hang in there. I'm losing weight. And even though, yes, I have some rare freaking disease, it's like 1 in a million or something. They said I should play the lottery. But it is livable. They said out of the rare cases, some people only had 1 or 2 episodes ever. And some people, it became chronic. I don't know if mine will be chronic or not, but for now, I just hope they get it under control with the steroids and get my levels back down. I am, again, walking normal today. So, and apparently hiccups. So maybe this is a side effect of some of this medicine and all this other stuff. Because normally with carnivore, I don't get hiccups, but apparently I do. So, all right, guys, it was good seeing you again. Now that you know where I'm at with everything, and I look forward to seeing you guys later. And if you want more from me, I can try to do more. I've just been super busy with my paranormal stuff and hiccups. All right, guys. I love you guys. We'll see you later.